and I think it's Bill Moyers who interviews him. And I was very impressed with the interview. You know, don't get me wrong. I see so much. I see so many videos. I do so much research. Sometimes it merges. So don't be too hard on me. He's absolutely right. It's the biggest fraud in history. He doesn't know how that could happen. It's just absolute criminal behavior. And he's right. He's written a book on it. And I hope for you all who are not subscribers that you, I guess, can they go to your site to reach me?
Yes, they should. You can go to my website, amd.elequity. There's a link there along with the phone number for Mr. Bob Chapman on the right-hand side of the
Also,
page.
you can go to our site, and that address is theinternationalforecaster.com. The International FORECASTER.com. And those of you who are in the States, 800-375-4188. That's toll free. 800-375-4188. And you want to get that. This is a very good issue, even though it's a shorter one. The one for Wednesday was about 48 pages or something. But, you know, we have to put out what is necessary so people will understand what's going on. All the news that you can't get anyplace else, you're going to get in that publication.
Betty in Southern California chimes in, and she says, Mr. Chapman, I don't see foreclosures in California slacking up. As a matter of fact, there's even more. It appears there's even more so. Job people are being laid off. They're saying that California unemployment may reach 17% by the 15th of this month. What input do you see out there? Is there any hope of any change to make it better?
No, it's just going to get worse. And the official California numbers are something like 10.6%. But again, that's short term. If I had to guess, and this is a national figure I'm going to give you, the government publishes a U6 figure and for unemployment. And they don't publish it for you. They just do it for professionals who know where to go and find it. And U6 is the short-term unemployment, and the people who are no longer receiving state checks, and those who are discouraged workers. And that figure for the nation is between 19.2 and 19.8% based upon the formula which was used in 1980. They've Mickey Moused the figures all these in intervening years, and their figure is 16.2, which is no bed of roses. But my figure is 19.2, and John Williams, who's another economist who does this kind of work like I do, his figure is 19.8%. So in California, it's over 20%, and it could get over 25 to 30% in California by the end of the year. Nationwide, I'm looking for 22% or better this year. Next year, I'm looking for over 30%. California might be 35%. And it's just not going to get better. It's going to get worse.
Is there anywhere in the United States that we could move to, those of us that don't have any bills, that where the economy is not just falling on its face?
Well, you know, there are certain states that tend to be more conservative than others. And, you know, if you don't mind cold climate, you've got Montana and Idaho and New Hampshire, fairly conservative states. In the South, it varies pretty widely. I know that a lot of people have, a lot of subscribers have moved out of the United States, and they're living in foreign countries, and they're listening to this broadcast. Some of them are in Australia and New Zealand and Chile and Argentina, Uruguay, Peru, Panama, Costa Rica, Mexico, all throughout Latin America. And so it all depends on what.
I got an IM here that says, don't forget Portugal.
Yeah, I used to live in Portugal. I lived in the Algarve in Almansil. I had a home there in the golf course. And
I'll just say, he doesn't say that he says he's got a subscription and he lives in Portugal.
Well, I have to apologize for forgetting we had somebody in Portugal subscribing. But it's a lovely country, and in the south there, along the Atlantic, it's very nice, particularly in the summer. And I enjoyed living there. Didn't live there a long time. It was about a year. But we have subscribers everywhere, and maybe there are people who would maybe like to go to Portugal. I don't know.
I have another email from Jim in New York. He says, Mr. Chapman, they're not releasing the unemployment rates here in New York, but it's got to be over 20%. And the government keeps lying. They keep saying that the jobless claims are seasonally adjusted, and they're basing these claims on what their figures of the 90s, and they're not looking at what the actual downturn is. We have people here in New York City. If the wife wasn't out working and the husband has lost his job, they'd be losing their houses, going and coming. Right now, people in New York City are on pins and needles. We worry that jobless rates will go further, will go up higher, and we see no end in sight. The financial industry is not hiring. How long will it take the financial industry to go back to hire those of us that used to work in it?
Well, you're not going to like what I got to tell you, but these people should have been taking the forecaster 5 and 6 years ago. We told everybody to get out of real estate, when to get out at the top of the market. We told people to get rid of their card debt, particularly credit cards, try to prepay mortgages as much as they could, get gold and silver coins. And, of course, those who got gold and silver coins and shares have made a lot of money. As far as the financial industry, I'm going to give you a rule of thumb. I was in the market as a broker from 1960 through 1989, 28 full years as a broker, and I owned a brokerage firm for a number of years. And the biggest fallout was in 1981, 82, and then again in 1989, 90, 91, when I was involved in that industry or was very close to the employment situation. And during that period of time, those periods of time, 70% of the brokers lost their jobs. 70. And I would expect that will happen again. And there'll be amalgamation among the firms so that they can survive, like you saw yesterday in housing with Pulte and Centex merging. It's like the vampire and Frankenstein getting married. There's no way most of those kind of firms are going to make it. But getting back to New York and finance, it's going to be disastrous. I mean, this is going to be far worse than the 1930s. And in New York City, it's going to be absolutely disastrous. And, New York City is where this all came from the brokerage industry private equity, banking, the insurance companies, they're all involved. They turned this thing into a casino to make money. They did that because the money to be made in manufacturing companies was gone because of free trade, globalization, outsourcing, and all of the things that went with it. And it killed that entire section for investment, so they went to financial investment. And then they get greedy. I mean, some of these brokerage firms and banks will leverage 40 to 1. They still are, incidentally. And I hate to say this, but they deserve it.